At some point, someone picked up a plant, smell it, and decided to burn it. Nobody told them to. Nobody showed them how. They just did it. And what happened next changed the way humans thought, prayed, and celebrated for the next 10,000 years. That plant is still here today. You probably already know its name, but what you don't know is how deep this thing goes. Because this wasn't just some accident around a campfire. Ancient humans didn't just discover weed. They built entire belief systems around it. And the story of how it happened is stranger than anything you'd expect. The most likely story isn't dramatic. It's actually very simple. Cannabis plants grew wild across Central Asia for millions of years. Ancient humans didn't go looking for it. They were just there, living near it, burning it for warmth, using it for rope and fabric. And one night, someone sat too close to the wrong fire, a fire that had cannabis burning in it, and they felt something different, a heaviness in the head, a warmth in the chest. The world slowing down just a little. They didn't know what was happening, but they noticed, and ancient humans who survived were exactly the kind of people who paid attention to things they noticed. Researchers found cannabis residue inside ancient burial sites in Central Asia, dating back over 20,500 years. But the plant itself was being used long before that. Some scientists believe early humans were interacting with cannabis as far back as 10,000 years ago. Not to get high, but because it was everywhere. And once they realized what it did, they didn't let it go. Here's where it gets interesting. Ancient humans didn't treat the feeling casually. They didn't sit around getting high for fun, at least not at first. The feeling that cannabis produced, the altered state, the slowed thoughts, the sense that something bigger was happening, that felt spiritual to them. And in a world where everything unexplained was connected to gods and spirits, a plant that changed your mind was not just a plant. It was a doorway. The Scythians, a powerful ancient tribe from Central Asia, had a ritual. After a burial, they would build a small tent, throw cannabis seeds onto hot stones inside, and sit in the smoke together. The Greek historian Herodotus wrote about this over 2,000 years ago. He said they howled with pleasure. This wasn't recreational. This was religious. They believed the smoke carried them closer to their dead, closer to whatever was on the other side. Ancient humans in India called cannabis a gift from the gods. It appeared in some of the oldest religious texts ever written. Used by holy men to quiet the mind and connect with something higher. In China, ancient healers used it for pain and anxiety thousands of years ago. Across completely different cultures, with no contact between them, humans kept arriving at the same plant and giving it the same meaning. That is not a coincidence. Here's the part that science makes really fascinating. Your brain has receptors specifically designed to respond to cannabis. They're called cannabinoid receptors. And the reason they exist is not because of the plant. It's because your brain already produces its own version of these chemicals naturally. They're called endocannabinoids. Your brain releases them when you exercise, when you feel connected to people you love, when you experience something that gives you deep calm. The cannabis plant essentially hijacks a system your brain already had, a system built for bonding, for calm, for feeling safe. And when ancient humans sat around that fire and felt the smoke work, their brains responded the way they were already wired to respond. Not because the plant was foreign, but because in a strange way, it felt like something the brain already knew. Which is why the experience felt spiritual, which is why it felt meaningful, which is why they kept coming back to it. But there's one more part of this story that nobody talks about. Ancient life was not peaceful. It was loud, painful, uncertain. You didn't know if there would be food tomorrow. You didn't know if your child would survive the winter. You carried loss and fear every single day with no way to process it. No therapy, no medication, no way to turn the noise off. And then, this plant. That quieted everything for a few hours. That made the fire feel warmer. That made the people around you feel closer. That made the weight of survival feel just a little lighter. Researchers who study ancient plant use believe cannabis spread so quickly across human cultures, not just because it felt good, but because it filled a gap, a very human gap, the need to sometimes step outside of your own pain, to sit with your tribe around a fire and feel okay for one night, even when everything around you was hard. And here's the thing, that gap hasn't changed. The world got more comfortable, but the need to quiet the mind, to feel connected, to get a break from your own thoughts, that is still exactly the same. Ancient humans didn't discover weed because they were looking for something to do. They discovered it because they were human. And being human has always meant searching for a little relief. The plant just happened to be sitting there, waiting.